After the incredible 2024 Ubisoft season where they went 0 wins and 69 losses in managing to grab the controversy spotlight from other game companies even when it's not their turn, you'd think they'd stop grabbing L's at some point, but man, they can't stop doing it. Like Michael Jordan in his prime, you cannot stop Ubisoft from failing, you can only hope to contain him. It's like they have this addiction to failure that can never be stopped. So here I am to ask this question sincerely to all of you. How the heck is Ubisoft still alive? Like, seriously. How? 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 This video was made with the support of my patrons and subscribers. Consider giving this video a like and subscribe to my channel. More info in the description and comments below. Not gonna lie guys, I've tuned out of the Ubisoft hype train ever since they screwed up Desmond's storyline in Ascreed, and after finishing AC4 Black Flag and witnessing the horrors that followed, it was at that moment I stopped caring. But after hearing every other YouTuber that I know and every other gaming news outlet talk about Ubisoft and their blunders, I think it would be nice to talk about all of their greatest hits throughout the years and reflect upon it, because God knows Ubisoft never will. Ubisoft released quite a few games in 2024, a few of them being Skull and Bones, X-Defiant, Star Wars Outlaws, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, and now, I played X-Defiant, and in fairness to that game, it was an okay shooter, if not a decent COD-like experience. But holy somersaulting Christ, the gall, the chutzpah, to call Skull and Bones a quadruple A game when the game itself plays like a shitty version of Sea of Thieves. Now, what really drives me insane is the fact that they decided to discontinue support for X-Defiant and continued support for Skull and Bones for another year. I'm not even gonna talk about how Avatar Frontiers of Pandora locked out players from playing their own game because they didn't buy the Skybreaker DLC, and how Star Wars Outlaws absolutely flopped, selling 1 million copies with an estimated $200 to $300 million budget. Besides the stellar list of games I've mentioned earlier, there's one game that I didn't mention because it was released completely out of left field, with absolutely no one knowing about it. I had to turn a literal internet stone just to discover this. Ubisoft, in their infinite wisdom, released Champion Tactics Grimoria Chronicles, an NFT game that was released not in 2021, not in 2022, but in 2024, when the NFT bubble has already popped and is now drier than your grandmother. It's another one of those things where it just confuses you to the point of making you think about things like, what the heck were the execs smoking when they decided to greenlight this project? And what bothers me even more is some human being actually okayed this thing. Like, they hand over the idea and like, yep, that's a great idea. I haven't even said anything and you're already reacting to it. Just goes to show how much of a shit show this game already is, and I'm not holding my breath. In the wake of the cold reality that most of the games you own in digital libraries will eventually be gone and unplayable in the far future, Ubisoft upped the ante by having their games literally be unplayable if and when they decide to shut down the multiplayer servers for it. I don't even know if it's a lack of necessary neurons or if it's the huffing of asbestos in the ceiling in their development offices, but how is it possible that they didn't think of placing an offline mode to their games? And adding insult to injury, they decided it would be a good idea to not offer a refund. And now they're facing a class action lawsuit, and I don't know how it's gonna go. But I really hope Ubisoft loses. With the exception of trying new IPs like X-Defiant and reviving the side-scrolling platformer genre with Prince of Persia and Rayman, most of the budget for Ubisoft games go to their air quotes biggest hits, such as Far Cry and Assassin's Creed, which they have done to death. Yes, they've embraced a little bit of evolution with the introduction of more RPG mechanics during Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but that's it. They've beaten the dead horse for so long that personally, I haven't even played Far Cry since Far Cry 3, and I haven't played any Assassin's Creed game since Syndicate. They had a shot with X-Defiant, but they blew it. The Crew had a following, but they also blew it. And now they're making another Assassin's Creed, whoop-de-fucking-do. Beyond Good and Evil 1 wasn't much of a commercial success, but gained a cult following. It's now considered a classic for some. I mean, the ratings don't seem to stray far from what people think about the game for the most part, so it makes sense to create a sequel for it, right? Right? Cut to 2008. Beyond Good and Evil 2 was revealed during Ubi Days 2008, and we got a 2-minute announcement trailer, and that was it. After a decade of silence, Ubisoft decided to show up to E3 2017 and release another trailer to the masses. It's now 2025 and still no Beyond Good and Evil 2. What's even funnier is that apparently Beyond Good and Evil 2 has already broken Duke Nukem Forever's record for longest development time at the time of writing. This game has been in development for more than 15 years, man. A year longer than Duke Nukem Forever's 14 years. And we're still counting. Frankly, I don't even know if this game is going to be released. With the death of Emile Morel, Beyond Good and Evil 2's lead creative director, it probably dealt a huge blow towards the development of the game. When I was done writing the script for this video, it's hilarious how I had to add some more stuff because as days go by, Ubisoft gets into more and more trouble. Like a moth to a flame, they really can't help getting into controversies. But at some point, I had to stop editing the script and eventually record. So I guess they just flew too close to the sun? I don't really know. But all I know is that Ubisoft used to mean great games for me. I don't know what it is that happened with these guys, but I remember keeping up with their games like Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell, and even Far Cry. Now, the only thing that I expect them to do is to at least not fuck up Rainbow Six Siege, because apparently that's the only good thing going for them right now. Especially after they ran that Desmond storyline from Assassin's Creed to the ground. Yes, I'm still onto that. And what sucks even more is the fact that all of these big name developers that I used to follow are now so consumed by greed and massive amounts of suck that now I have no idea which games I should trust. Back then, you just had to look at who developed it and you knew it was gonna be a good time. Now it's just a barren wasteland of nostalgia laced with the cold reality that none of these developers you used to trust are the same. Now, that isn't true for every single one of these companies, but man is it bleak. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Consider joining my Patreon and subscribe so I can move out of my parents' basement. Until next time.